Donald Trump out on the campaign trail continues to rip into Joe Biden. President Trump is a funny person. Here he was on Hugh Hewitt the other day talking about Joe Biden being drugged up for various debates and speeches.
You have said you'll debate him anywhere, anytime. Do you think he'll agree to any debates?
Anywhere, anytime.
Do you think he'll agree?
I don't think so, but I hope he does.
Do you think
what happened is, that white stuff that they happened to find, which happened to be cocaine in the White House? I don't know. I think something's going on there, because I watched his State of the Union, and he was all jacked up at the beginning. By the end, he was fading fast. There's something going on there. I want to debate, and I think debates with him, at least, should be drug tested. I want to
Mr. President, are you suggesting President Biden's using cocaine?
I don't know what he's using, but that was not, he was higher than a kite.
I mean, fact check, true. But again, the problem with Joe Biden really isn't that he's senile, it's that he's wrong on nearly everything. Gen 90, it's the skincare breakthrough from Genucel that not only addresses the pesky bags and puffiness under the eyes, but does so instantly. No more worrying about the effects of sleepless nights, stress, or seasonal allergies on your appearance. Gen 90 is here to provide immediate relief. Gen 90 instantly reduces the appearance of looking older anywhere you use it, around the eyes, the forehead, crow's feet, laugh lines, even the chin. You need to experience the luxury of Gen 90's technology. It's a paraben-free, silky smooth solution. You'll feel the instant tightening as it touches your skin. Another testament to its effectiveness and your confidence in its results. Genucel has a 400% advantage in customer loyalty compared to other skincare brands, and there's a reason for that. Right now, you'll not only get Genucel's classic under-eye bags and puffiness serum with every Gen 90 order, also you'll get their luxurious Genucel XV, a collagen-building moisturizer with vitamin C and hyaluronic acid in a pure natural base for stunning results day after day. Go to Genucel.com/Ben right now for incredible packages, over 50% off during Genucel's spring sale. See your results or get your money back. Order right now, get a free limited edition spa box with bonus gifts and free shipping. Visit Genucel.com/Ben. That's Genucel.com/Ben. Go check them out right now. Genucel.com/Ben. The Biden administration continues to be absolutely discombobulated and confused when it comes to, say, China policy. So at the same exact time that the United States will say that we want Ukraine to enter NATO, which again would immediately lead to a shooting war with a nuclear armed power, the United States is signaling once again to China that we will be conciliatory. Now, it has been the policy of the United States for decades that we, quote unquote, do not support an independent Taiwan. George W. Bush said that. Barack Obama said that. We've had this bizarre strategic incoherence with regard to Taiwan for a very long time, specifically because we believe that if we provoke the Chinese into invading Taiwan, if we say we support Taiwanese independence, then China will invade basically the next day. With that said, does the United States de facto support Taiwanese independence? The answer, of course, is yes. De facto, the United States does not want Taiwan to be governed by mainland China. The question is, what resources are we willing to put behind all of that? So that strategic incoherence continues to be on complete display here. Here is John Kirby yesterday suggesting, once again, we do not support independence for Taiwan.
I won't characterize President Xi's comments, but I can tell you that President Biden was very, very clear that nothing's changed about our one China policy. We don't support independence for Taiwan, but we also don't want to see the status quo changed in a unilateral way, and certainly not by force.
Okay, so preserve the status quo, but we don't support independence for Taiwan. Again, that has been the historic position of the United States. The problem is that Joe Biden's weak policies have led China to believe that they can do pretty much whatever they want. And again, there will come a point here where if China can't get what it wants by soft power, it will in fact blockade the island of Taiwan. That is their goal. They believe that if they can show enough daylight between Taiwan and the United States that Taiwan feels truly threatened, Taiwan will preemptively, effectively elect a pro-China government. Taiwan has not done this. The last election was a little bit closer than has been the usual over there. But with that said, the United States is not demonstrating the naval power necessary to actually break a blockade of Taiwan were that to happen. Again, the real reason that China would like to blockade Taiwan is to get Taiwan to then supply via TSMC sophisticated microchips to the Chinese military sufficient to allow China to actually challenge America's military predominance. So what is the Biden administration doing? They're activating 40-year-old chips. So the Biden administration has taken incredibly soft on defense policy. They have cut the military budget effectively. They have not built up our military in the face of increasing global threat. The Wall Street Journal says, standing on the bridge of a 270-foot U.S. Coast Guard cutter, Lieutenant Channing Meyer listed the recent upgrades to the 40-year-old ship: a new deck gun, reliable power connections, an improved electronic navigation system, and better internet connectivity. This thing runs like it was built yesterday, he said, a short time later inside a hallway on the Harriet Lane. The Coast Guard transferred the Harriet Lane to the Pacific from the U.S. East Coast a few months ago, part of the Biden administration's latest move to compete with China for influence in the region. U.S. officials view the Coast Guard as a potent soft power tool in the Pacific, which is home to U.S. military assets and strategic waterways that could be crucial in a military confrontation over Taiwan. But the Coast Guard is deploying retrofitted vessels like the Harriet Lane because a plan to build a new class of more modern ships will take years and has been bogged down by delays and cost increases. At the same time, the Coast Guard's enlisted workforce is 10% below its authorized strength, one of the largest shortages in its 233-year history, and is expected to worsen this year, according to officials. Meanwhile, China has reinforced its Coast Guard with more than 20 former Navy corvettes and is increasingly asserting its territorial claims in the South China Sea, where Chinese fishing vessels double as a maritime militia. Beijing is also actively seeking influence in the Pacific. Certain Chinese Coast Guard vessels may have longer-range guns compared with the Harriet Lane, some analysts said. So again, the goal here for China is create enough naval power to be able to blockade Taiwan, sufficient to pressure them to elect a friendly government, get the microchips, and then upgrade your military capacity. And then China really has the ability to harm the United States in some pretty severe ways, including the closing off of the Taiwan Straits, which is, again, one of the world's chief choke points for trade. Now, foreign policy is actually fairly simple. It is a fifth grade playground. In a fifth grade playground, the biggest bully typically wins. The United States, since World War II, has been the biggest bully. When the biggest bully decides that it is, in fact, bad and terrible, and that it needs to recede from the world scene, and that it needs to, show the world that it's a kinder, gentler bully, it stops working out, starts sitting in the corner. Turns out there are other bullies on the playground. There's not only one bully in any fifth grade class. There are usually multiple. And it turns out that what you want is that the bully happens to be the most moral player on the block. Well, and it turns out that China's a bully and Russia's a bully, Iran is a bully. It turns out when the United States recedes from its position of world leadership, out of some sort of peculiar sense of self-doubt, all of our enemies are not sitting still. There's this weird take on foreign policy that has become incredibly predominant, which is that the United States is the only country with agency on earth. That basically everything that everyone else does is a reaction to us. Russia would not have invaded Ukraine if it had not been for the United States doing X. China would not be concerned about Taiwan if it were not for the United States being so provocative. Or alternatively, everybody is playing the same game, and everybody has their own geostrategic interests, and they are going to pursue those geostrategic interests. And where they meet mush, they will push. Which one of those sounds more likely to you? There's a certain arrogance and self-centeredness about isolationist or left-wing foreign policy. Sort of Noam Chomsky-esque, the rest of the world just reacts to the United States foreign policy. Turns out people all over the world are adults and have agency. It would be nice if the United States treated its enemies as though they had agency sometimes and are not mere children who are the playthings of more powerful Western powers. Because that's not true. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.